Holy crap, they did it. They did it. They literally are passing the big, beautiful bill. I was watching all these senators who said that they were going to vote no, ended up voting yes. And only 3 Republican senators voted no against the big, beautiful bill. And J.D. Vance is on his way to break the tie. He's the tiebreaker. And obviously he's going to vote yes. So what does this mean? This means that more money is going to go to our military. We're going to be able to secure the border. That means more ICE agents are going to be getting hired left and right. More deportations on a wide scale. I hope the senators actually do what they say that they were going to do, is raise the debt $5 trillion to actually buy assets. It's called arbitrage. It's whenever you get in debt to buy something, and in this particular case, they're wanting to get in debt to pay down the debt. Like, we're up to like $37 trillion of debt. And man, this is crazy. I literally didn't think it was going to happen. Seriously. Wow. Happy 4th of July, Donald Trump. You're the freaking man. Seriously. Wow.
Maybe this will be the thing that finally wakes people up. It looks like the big, beautiful bill is going to pass. Great. Maybe when your neighbors are dying in the streets, maybe that will wake people up. Maybe when people are getting foreclosed on in their homes, maybe that will wake people up and there are no resources to turn to. Maybe when you have to take in all of your elderly relatives because their nursing homes are being shut down, maybe that's when people wake up. Maybe when children in your community are starving and malnourished. There's already 1 in 10 children in the United States facing food insecurity. Maybe that will wake people up. Maybe when you have to drive 3 hours away to go to a hospital because they're closing rural hospitals left and right with this bill, maybe that will wake people up. I don't know what it's going to take to wake people up to the conditions of so many people living in this country. Maybe we'll wake up.
What do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years? When President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys, it is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office or in the cabinet room when I was there with finance, where he said we can go after waste, fraud, and abuse on any programs. Now, those amateurs that are advising him, not Dr. Oz, I'm talking about White House healthcare experts, refuse to tell him that those instructions that were to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse all of a sudden eliminates a government program that's called the provider tax. We owe it to the American people, and I owe it to the people of North Carolina, to withhold my affirmative vote until it's demonstrated to me that we've done our homework. We're going to make sure that we fulfill the promise, and then I can feel good about a bill that I'm willing to vote for. But until that time, I will be withholding my vote.
I'm not MAGA. Please don't scroll. I have a moral compass and a soul, and I woke up super frustrated because of all this big, beautiful bill stuff. It's like having flashbacks of that thing we went through not too long ago that cost over 1 million American lives. Just trying to tell people to protect themselves, protect their loved ones, even people that we don't necessarily agree with or even like. They sure as hell don't like us. And we watched countless family members of theirs pass away due to that horrible pandemic. And now you've got countless MAGA influencers all over the web rooting for the big, beautiful bill because Donald Trump supports it 100%. Even though the very same things that all these MAGA influencers and MAGA members of Congress railed against Biden for, not putting America first, increasing taxes to the middle class, you don't get your no tax on tips, and the no tax on overtime is so specific, you're still going to be taxed on overtime. But not only that, for your own self-serving purposes, your rural hospitals in your red states, your senior living assisted facilities, they're going to be shut down. Because in red states, they all rely on Medicaid and Medicare to function. This is going to affect everyone, red and blue states. But red states, your governors and your members of Congress and your state legislator all lie to you. Y'all do not have the state budget to finance your own healthcare programs. Your mothers, your fathers, your sons, your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, your brothers, your sisters, they all rely on one or all of the programs that this big, beautiful bill is going to cut. And the MAGA influencers out there, the Charlie Kirks, are being paid handsomely to tell you that's not true. This bill is big, but mark my words, there's absolutely nothing beautiful about it. This is not America first. And you know what? Even if you're MAGA and you can't stand me, an independent progressive, I still don't want to see bad things happen to you or your family. Because an actual patriot has concern for all Americans. Donald Trump isn't a patriot. We lost over 1 million Americans and he treated it like it was just another Tuesday. If any pro-Trump online or TV personality is telling you to support this thing, they don't care about you, MAGA. Real patriots care about you. Even though all this MAGA stuff, this hate, this police state has given us every single reason in the book not to. I have said and will continue to say, Republicans are welcome at my table anytime, even if we disagree. And there should be a shared mutual respect as Americans. Not MAGA. MAGA's a lie. And every single voice supporting this thing is being paid to lie.
So after a very long marathon, the bill has passed. That's very ugly, big, beautiful bill, depending on which side or whatever you want to actually call it. It has passed. But the bill has so many issues. The bill has issues that actually are going to affect many of millions of Americans. You know, the fact that this thing caused that, an enmity, the friendship to actually break apart between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, it shows how it's going to affect millions of Americans. You know, the bill is projected to add 2.3 trillion to the 4 trillion to the federal debt over a decade. So per the Congressional Budget Office and other analysis, worsening the US GDP ratio, which is currently at 124%. And this will downgrade the US credit rating. Imagine it includes 3.8 trillion tax cuts, such as extending the 2017 tax cut and job cuts, and introducing no tax on tip or overtime, with insufficient spending cuts to offset the cost. So annual cost or annual debt, could reach 2.9 trillion. So according to a committee for a responsible federal budget, people like Elon Musk have warned against the bill. It will increase the debt level for future generations. So the generation that is coming, they are gonna pay dearly for this budget. Another thing, the favoring of the wealthy. The bill disproportionately benefit high-income household and corporation, exacerbating the income inequality. You know what? This is the tax cuts. Who will benefit most? People who have businesses, the wealthy, the corporations. They are the ones who are gonna pay it. No, not pay it, but benefit from it. This will mean what? Actually, it means that the budget, the revenue that the government or the federal government get those extra revenue from those the wealthy, the rich, it means it will reduce. And do you know who are those people that are actually, they voted with the energy, with the big energy, are the wealthy people. It makes the TCJA permanent, which primarily aids high earners and raises the state and local tax. Deduction cap to 40,000 for married couples earning between 500,000, favoring the resident of high tax state. The CBO notes that the wealthiest gain the most from the tax cut, while the middle and low income household face reduced services. Yeah, generally it's like that. So if this is the wealth, their tax are reduced. You know how it's going to affect you, the middle or the low income earner? It means the service delivery to you is going to reduce. Trump was asked if he is going to deport Elon Musk. He said, I don't know, blah, blah. But, he keeps on claiming that Elon Musk wanted the EV credits. But Elon Musk from the very beginning has been against it. He wanted it, but actually it was not in his mind. So the billionaires are gonna benefit from this. The low income earners are actually gonna suffer. The cuts from the Medicaids or the Medicare, the cuts to the social safety nets, So if it's gonna slash funding for Medicaid and SNAP potential, it will leave millions without health care or the food assistance. The SNAP that expands our work requirements to caregivers or with children as young as 7 is going to be affected. So the cut will harm the vulnerable population or the low income earners, the elders, the disabled. It will increase co-pays, the money that you are actually required to pay on top of that insurance, which will risk a lot of hospital closure. There's one of the speakers or the ladies actually in the video who claims you're waiting for you see your neighbor, die in the street to actually know that this thing is very serious. So it's gonna affect many people, and it's bad. And you know what? We'll have measures that will deter legal immigration, burden vulnerable groups, and disrupt the economies reliant on immigrant labor. It will have environmental rollback issues. The bill prioritize fossil fuel over clean energy, which undermines the climate goals. And this thing, what will happen? They are cutting, America will witness a lot electric blackouts. You'll pay high prices for your electricity bill. Because one thing, fossil fuel is not that cheap. So there are environmental groups that have warned about the increased pollution and reliance on fossil fuel, contradicting that is the global climate commitment, and it's going to affect millions of Americans. You know, like, it has legal and democratic issues. So the issue or the provision, it has a provision that weaken judicial authority and democratic safeguards. So you know, this is one of the people that have actually been having contempt of the courts. We all know the executive orders are actually not a good thing, but he's one of the people that has actually been bypassing these executive orders, you know. So it prohibits funds for enforcing court orders, holding executive officials in contempt, potentially shielding the administration from accountability. A Senate proposal ties broadband funding to banning state AI regulation, risking election integrity by limiting protection against AI-generated information. So the Campaign Legal Center warns of threats to the rule of law, while critics see the AI provision as undermining the state authority or the state autonomy and voter protection. You know? So imagine the bans on Medicaid funds for Planned Parenthood limit access to reproduction health services, replaces student loan repayment plans with the less generous options, and repeal Biden-era loan forgiveness for college fraud or closures. So this provision, as seen, it's catering to specific group, while harming the broader public interest. So in general, or to be sincere, this bill has nothing to help that low or the middle income earner. So we want, because it has been passed, and I think Donald Trump will gladly, ascend the bill. But we want to go and see if it's only non-MAGAs that will suffer, or it's both the MAGA, the Republican, the Democrat. So tell me what you think about this video in the comment section. Tell me, are you in support of this bill, or are you against this bill? Thank you.